minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Seconds till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it. Hey, we are getting ready to rock and roll today. It's going to be a fun show. No guests today. You and I chit in the chat doing the thing. We got plenty to cover, so strap in, buckle up, and let's have some fun. Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing today for a Tuesday. Hang tight.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your Voice of Reason. It is a post-Monday celebration. Greatest day of the entire week. Plenty to cover, plenty to talk about. Always things happening across the board. We have elections. We have the SAVE Act with voter ID that Democrats continue to lose their mind on. And apparently, we're only a week away until the potential partial shutdown of the federal government because of the ICE funding and so much more. So we'll try and cram as much of it as we can into the program. No guests today. You and I chit in the chat doing the thing, staring at each other across the room, trying to solve the issues of the world on a regular basis. That being said, welcome into it. It is the Voice of Reason. My name's Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country with so many great radio affiliates doing the thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the show. I have some exciting news. And I don't know if you're, by exciting, yes, I'm being sarcastic. I have some exciting news. If you have not heard about this, you should get ready, man. It is going to be absolutely bigly.
And I think we're going to make it bigly.
And I think we're getting a tease of what's going to happen in the 2028 presidential election. There is someone back on the market.
What's trending today?
And that is with, now it's starting off as we're going to just give you the headlines and issues of the day. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world today because obviously this person is very up and up on being able to relate to constituency and relate to the average American, which is why she's apparently doing this to get her name back into the realm of a potential 2028 presidential run. And that is none other than
Kamala HQ is turning into headquarters, and it's where you can go online to get basically the latest of what's going on and also to meet and revisit with some of our great courageous leaders, be they elected leaders, community leaders, civic leaders, faith leaders, young leaders. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, Kamala Harris. Who would have thunk that one? Back into it. Now, I say this is going to be interesting because now Kamala HQ is the social media site where she's not going to be promoting herself yet, but she is going to be doing kind of the community thing and introducing yourself to elected officials, introducing yourself to community organizers and other great leaders out there because she has the finger on the pulse when it comes to the issues people want to know about. Right? Oh. So I figured it was a perfect time for us to bring back up one of our own Voice of Reason infomercials, which, by the way, you can find all of these on our website at HooserReason.com under the Special Features tab. With all the new affiliates that we've had on the show, many have not been aware of this, but we make satire infomercials selling fake products. We did one during the Kamala Harris presidential election because she is such an insightful person that's able to break down the issues of the day unlike anybody else. We had to come up with our very own Voice of Reason product to help her expand her message and get her reach out there for what she actually does.
Hi, it's your Voice of Reason spokesperson again, and I'm here to tell you about our latest great product. Whereas you know, sometimes life can be a bit challenging. The stress of work, the economy, maybe questioning your gender, or just finding that right-wing issue to protest for the week. Whatever may be on your mind, don't be sad. Be encouraged with the Voice of Reason's all-new audio tape of motivational quotes from Kamala. Now available in cassette, CD, or downloadable audio, get the entire album of the great motivational speeches from America's next great leader that will help calm your mind and make you feel at peace.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I loved listening to my morning affirmations to get my day started. But now I don't even need affirmations. I can just turn on my motivational quotes with Kamala, and I feel great throughout my day.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
Wow, so insightful.
Albums range from positive speeches to deep insights on the world's problems.
You know, I was thinking about the universe the other day. You know, man, like the meaning of life, it was driving me crazy. Like, literally, what's it all about? Then I listened to my Deep Thoughts with Kamala, and for once, I had my eyes opened.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
Order now and get a copy of both Motivational Quotes with Kamala and Deep Thoughts with Kamala while items last. But wait, there's more! Order now and also set up your kids for success with Kamala's all-new entry-level preschool course, learning about the basics of the world.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
Help give your kids the proper start they need by putting them a step ahead in their education.
My mommy and daddy said I needed to learn about money, so they turned on my new school audio whenever we're in the car.
So we invested an additional $12 billion into community banks because we know community banks are in the community and understand the needs and desires of that community as well as the talent and capacity of community.
Plus, she even has educational courses for adults.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught.
It's all available right now, and it's all with the Voice of Reason.
Boom, there you go. The latest motivational speeches from Kamala, our Voice of Reason products. For those that may be relatively new to the program, we have not done one of those in a while. So we have a few in the works right now with our infomercials, but you can find all of them. We've made a lot of them throughout the years, and you can find all of them at our website at HooserReason.com under the tab of special features. Go and check that out with our latest product infomercial.
Andy's latest product.
That's right. And again, find all that stuff on the website at HooserReason.com. All right, that being said, apparently she's made a comment as well about the SAVE Act and, again, how bad it is for women to have to verify who they are and how it's oppression or something. I don't really know. But the voter ID, the SAVE Act, is back in the conversation, and it's a bit almost of a distraction from what's happening right now with ICE. And I have a prediction right now on the program.
Andy's prediction
is Democrats have completely missed it. They thought, for the longest time, Democrats really thought that they had their finger on the pulse of the mindset of the average American. And really, since Donald Trump's got into office and threw them off their game for so long, they realized how non-relatable they are to their constituents, how finger on the pulse-esque that they are with understanding the mindset of the average American person, and it's kind of thrown them off. So they're trying to distract, because right now the SAVE Act has been supported overwhelmingly with the idea of voter ID by Republicans and Democrats. CNN just ran a story, 95% of Republicans, 78% of Democrats support the idea of voter ID in some aspect, and Democrats thought it would be an overwhelming idea of oppression. I mean, Chuck Schumer just came out last week and said it's Jim Crow laws 2.0 by having some type of voter ID in some aspects. So he doesn't like it, even though even their own party overwhelmingly is in support of the idea. And they realize that they cannot get out of the hole that they've dug themselves into. So they're trying to distract by going after the ICE issues and emotional issues, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But they're really trying to push back on this whole narrative of why so many people actually support the idea.
Requiring basic ID in order to vote is really popular. 83% of Americans, including 71% of your fellow Democrats,
that's up to 78 now, by the way,
requiring an ID to vote. Why are they wrong?
I haven't said that they're wrong. We know that states are the ones who are empowered to conduct elections, and every state should be allowed to decide the best way to proceed to ensure that there's a free and fair election. Here in New York, there are, in fact, voter identification requirements. The question is that what Republicans are trying to do is to engage in clear and blatant voter suppression.
Okay, so voter suppression by passing the Voter ID Act. So you got to remember here, and this is some of the inside baseball for you to be a little bit more up and up on how politics is actually played. The DNC usually does a very good job of sending out their talking points. Right, here's the bullet points, here's how you address an issue. And many of the candidates and many of the politicians are so bad at PR, so bad at messaging, that they take those bullet points and literally read them verbatim, word for word. Now that they've been backed into a corner and dug themselves too bad of a hole, they're in a bit of a state of panic. And we like to joke on the show, you might want to cover up your desperation showing right now, because they're in panic mode. Their own party agrees with the idea of voter ID. So now you have two different arguments. They're like, well, voter ID is really, really bad. Or, no, voter ID is fine. We just don't like the voter suppression because the SAVE Act apparently goes a little bit further. They're conflicting because they're not on the same page. They haven't gotten their talking points from the DNC yet. They're not sure where to go because they've been backed into such a bad corner. So Jeffries, who, by the way, lied, well, he extended the truth just a little bit. He said that in the state of New York that you have voter ID laws. You do in the state of New York in general. New York City itself does not, which is where we see all the fraud actually happening in New York City. So when he says, oh, yeah, we have voter ID, it's not about voter ID. We always have voter ID. New York has voter ID. The state does. Parts of the state do. The city itself does not. So he exaggerated, flubbed just a little bit, typical Democrat, typical politician. But that's one argument that we're hearing, and that's from the House side. The House side, again, Hakeem Jeffries, relatively irrelevant in this conversation because they don't have the majority. They're not going to be able to stop it. Republicans already passed it once, like 3 years ago. They're trying to do it again. On the Senate side, on the other hand, you have Adam Schiff, who is the guy that for verbatim regurgitates the talking points from the DNC, really bad at marketing, really bad at messaging, really bad at trying to be relatable, but acting like he's some type of authoritative figure. This guy on the Senate side now is, going to be on the Senate side. Is he already over there? I can't remember. I know he was running for that special election. I think it already happened. I think he is in the Senate, but here's what he had to say.
What about the idea of voter ID, of photo ID being required to vote? Are you in favor of that?
Republicans have created distrust in the elections by making claims of non-existent fraud in the elections. And shouldn't we use the distrust they've created in order to enact a voter suppression law, which is the SAVE Act, which would require people to have a birth certificate or passport, documents that millions of Americans don't have?
But I was asking you a different question. Photo ID. Because as you know, let's show up, there was a recent poll, there's been a lot of polls on this. 83% of adults support requiring photo ID to vote. 71% of Democrats favor requiring photo ID. Is that something that you can support? And if not, why not?
It's still going to be something, Jonathan. It's still going to be something that disenfranchises people that don't have the proper real ID.
The proper real ID, it disenfranchises people. By the way, yes, it is Senator. I had to double check on that one. It is Senator Adam Schiff now. He has moved from the House over to the Senate. So there you have it. You have two different arguments, which is you only know happens when Democrats don't quite know what to do because they dug themselves into a bad situation. This audio, I believe that was from CNN too. They said the 71% of Democrats support. The new poll that just came out from CNN that they just reported, I believe today, showed 78%. So while they try to do another one to try and make their numbers look better to support Democrats, it actually got worse. 78% of Democrats, 95% of Republicans support the idea of voter ID. And every time you bring it up, well, it suppresses people, it marginalizes people, and they don't have the ability to go get those proper ID. In other words, again, minorities, you're too poor and you're too stupid to figure out how to get an ID that you use for everything else except for voting.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
What's wrong with the SAVE Act? What's wrong with it is that it might violate the 19th Amendment, which gives women the right to vote, because you've got to show that all of your different IDs match. So if you're a woman who's gotten married and you've changed your name to your husband's name, but so now your current name is different from your name at birth, now you've got to go ahead and document that. You need an affidavit explaining why. And why would we go to all of these the troubles in order to keep people from voting?
Wow. Do you hear the stupid that just oozes out of these individuals? Like, I smell the desperation, because that is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Well, you got to verify that if you have a name change, and you have to show all this documentation to prove the name change, to prove that you are who you are. Oh my gosh, how terrible is that? Wait a second. So you don't do that if you apply for loans? No, wait a second. You don't do that when you change your address and move somewhere else where you have to update all the information, or if you apply for a loan and, well, that name doesn't match this name, what's going on here? If you try to get on a mortgage, if you try to get on an auto loan, if you do anything out there that involves finances or your social security number or anything, you have to update that information, or else there's a big flag that pops up and says, wait a second, things aren't matching. What's going on here? And then if you get a divorce, then you have to show the divorce papers, or if your spouse passes away and you have to change that and show the death certificate, or else you can't receive. Oh my gosh, we do it for every other part of society except for when we vote for you to prove who you are. Like, that is, again, dumbest statement ever. Telling you, man, Democrats, I'm trying to help you. Help me help you, because right now you're not making a lot of sense. You got to work a little bit harder.
I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck.
Yeah, that's very true. I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections right now because the results are so dramatic, and they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So when you're looking for weight loss but not interested in some of the painful weekly injections, or if you're concerned about the intense side effects that could potentially happen, you got to try something different. I've been trying Lean since the beginning of the year. I feel absolutely amazing, and that's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean, because the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so that way you're just not as hungry overall. But here's the thing. Lean is not for the casual dieter that only wants to lose a couple of pounds. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieter that wants to lose 10 pounds or more, and we can get you started today. Go to TakeLean.com. When you do, you'll get 20% off and free rush shipping, so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan right now by using my promo code on the radio show, REASON, REASON, for your discount. Again, 20% off and free rush shipping is awesome. Go to TakeLean.com and use that promo code REASON. TakeLean.com. Use the promo code REASON. Let's do this journey together. Don't try and give up on your New Year's resolution, and tell me how the effects are working for you as I give you updates on what I'm doing here as well by going to TakeLean.com and use the promo code REASON. So, update, by the way, on the policy of the SAVE Act is obviously the Senate's not going to have enough votes unless we get rid of the filibuster. There's not an appetite for that right now for Republicans, although I think they need to seriously reconsider, because if not, we're not going to get a whole lot of the Trump agenda codified before the midterms. And if we lose the midterms, then it's going to be 2 years of stagnation for Trump and nothing will get done. The next president, hopefully he's not a Democrat, but whenever that is, they will come in and just reverse everything Trump just did. And we can't let that happen. So, but that's another conversation for another time. What needs to happen right now, though, is apparently the SAVE Act is potentially being attached onto the FISA spending. And for those that don't know the FISA court spending, the FISA program allowing government to surveil people that they deem as a potential threat, as a potential domestic terrorist or whoever, through the FISA courts, a court system that has no transparency and oversight to make sure that they're not violating people's privacy laws or anything, that we're looking at extending that. Now, I want to see that gone, but Democrats don't. We probably won't be able to get rid of it. So do we attach the SAVE Act to it in order for both of them to go through and we get a little bit of what we want?
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
I can obviously speak for the president, who is quite possibly the strongest supporter of the Save America Act, which, as you know, would require proof of citizenship to register to vote. It would require proof of identification, a photo identification before casting a ballot, and it would also ensure that there are exceptions made. I think that's what you're alluding to with these conversations with House Republicans for reasonable requests, of course, for our military, for individuals who are disabled and cannot make it to the polls. Those are reasonable common sense things that I believe House Republicans are discussing amongst themselves. But as for the president, he's been very clear. He wants House Republicans and Democrats, too, if they were politically wise, to pass this legislation, for the Senate to pass it, to send it to the president's desk so it can be signed into law.
All right, so Caroline Leavitt at a press conference earlier today talking about the SAVE Act, advocating for it. President Trump wants to see it happen as well. It's not going to happen right now with the Senate majority, limited majority Republicans have, and the Democrats that will not vote for that to end the filibuster on that front. So the question is will we see it actually be done, and could it be attached to a different bill? And I guess you really have to make the moral conversation discussion of what's the lesser of two evils, because right now the only option that we have is to maybe attach it to the FISA spending bill, which, as conservatives, we kind of want to see the end of FISA. We want to see the end of the Patriot Act. We want to see the end of surveillance. We want to see the end of a lot of this ridiculousness that happened after 9/11, that at that time, a lot of people, including myself, were like, yeah, probably needed, because they scared us into what was actually happening at that time, and they've taken it to a whole new level, and they've been abusing that system for a very long time, haven't they? So that being said, we want to see the end of FISA, but that's not, again, realistically, probably not going to happen right now. We don't have enough votes to make that happen. So the question is, do we not have either of them, or do we pass the FISA extension bill with the SAVE Act potentially attached to it? Then we put the pressure on the Democrats. And the Democrats, they say, well, we have to have FISA for national security, but we don't want voter ID because of all the arguments that they made before. It's a violation of the 19th Amendment with women's rights because people change their name, and it's just going through all these red hoops to try and suppress votes because you have to show your ID and who you are and back it up based on your name change. I know, very scary, a lot of craziness. They don't like that very much. They get very angry about that because you know what?
We're all gonna die because of you!
Yeah, so that's kind of what we have to go through right now. But outside of that issue, there's a few other issues.
What's trending today?
Right now that are, to me at least, kind of fascinating. And as we go into midterm season, there are a couple of issues that, again, Democrats are really trying to focus on. But have you noticed one of them has kind of dropped off the radar? And that is the idea of affordability. Remember, that was whole Zohran Mamdani and affordability. He coined that term. Democrats started using the affordability. They used it like a month after Donald Trump got into office of, hey, the inflation's too high, it's too expensive. And like we had 4 years of Joe Biden where the inflation went up by 30% over a 4-year period. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump has the issue with the economy and things not being affordable enough for individuals. But if you noticed, Donald Trump took it on, addressed it, came out with some big plans to reform some of the housing issues and lowered gas prices and got inflation down and all this other stuff. All of a sudden, Democrats aren't using that term anymore. Did you notice that? It just kind of dropped off. Media not using the affordability comment either. I find that kind of interesting. So they, of course, have to change the term. Donald Trump making a reference to that earlier today.
If you notice over the last few days, it's only a few days, but the Democrats have gone to another subject. I think they're probably saying dictator or something. They've got a new word. They don't use the word affordability anymore because prices are way down. Gasoline is, I just left Iowa, $1.99 and even $1.85 a gallon, $1.85 a gallon. That's in Iowa.
So he's right. Affordability kind of just disappeared. They went on to the next thing. I tell you what, Democrats are kind of like the kid with severe ADHD to where you can't pin them down on anything because they're all over the place. And as soon as you address one of their issues and they bounce around, well, what about this? Okay, what about affordability? All right, well, let's work on some housing issues. Let's deregulate. Let's bring some raw material prices down. Let's bring gas prices down. Let's bring diesel prices down. We got this figured. Well, what about the tyranny thing? What? You know, that's the kind of conversation that we have with these people, and it's a little bit ridiculous. So what is the new flavor of the day? Well, according to Congress, apparently at the end of this week, we have a potential partial shutdown of the government that includes the Department of Homeland Security, that includes ICE, that includes FEMA, it includes the air traffic control, that includes a lot of the TSA agents at airports. Like, that kind of covers a wide range of security that we have in this nation through the Department of Homeland Security. And until they do the ICE issue, then we're not going to see any progress. A lot of hearings have been done regarding ICE, as according to, ICE Director Lyons was in front of Congress testifying, and the Democrats, of course, using that for an opportunity. Well, you shot this person, you killed this person, are you going to resign? You got Eric Swalwell out there, are you going to resign from your seat? Because they just try to make this into a political statement. They use it as their couple bumper sticker arguments, they get their audio clip of them ranting, and they send it to their constituents for election season. It's what happens. I hate hearings. They're pretty much useless. Everybody grandstands, and then they use it for their own personal and political agenda. Yes, that happens on both sides of the aisle. But an interesting back and forth, and I don't know who the elected official is here, that a Democrat that was angry with ICE Director Lyons about a couple issues and really went a bit too far because, again, you can't talk about the issues themselves. You have to talk about the emotion behind them, showing that you're a bit of in a desperate state and we can smell it.
Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you
yes.
think judgment...
It's almost like an I gotcha. Like, are you religious? Yeah. Oh. You know, you can smell the excitement in her.
Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you
Whoa.
with so much blood on your hands?
Whoa, that's a question from an elected official. You have blood on your hands. What do you think is going to happen on Judgment Day? Because you apparently now have the conduit between God and humanity. So what do you feel that's going to be with blood on your hands on Judgment Day, because you're working with ICE?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh, okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to.
Of course not. How many government...
The gentlelady will suspend. The gentlelady will suspend.
Chairman?
A gentlelady will suspend. As I said, the issues we're debating here are important to ones that members feel deeply about.
Thank you,
While
Chairman.
vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum in debate. The witnesses are here voluntarily, and I will continue to remind members that while oversight is important, aggressively attacking those witnesses personally is inappropriate and not in keeping with the traditions of our committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just asking a question.
Just asking that
You
question.
guys are always talking about religion here in the Bible. I mean, it's okay for me to ask a question, right? But let me continue on. I got your note.
All right, the gentlelady may resume.
Thank you so much. Let me get back to my question, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I appreciate you. How many government agencies, Mr. Lyons, are you aware of that routinely kill American citizens and you still get funding?
Okay, hold on. Routinely kill American citizens. That's the question. Routinely kill them. There have been 2 deaths in Minneapolis. Both have been brought on by the individuals by putting themselves in a situation they didn't need to be in. That's what they're using to now say that we're routinely killing American citizens through the agencies. This is the kind of dumb questioning. And again, this shows that you're in a bit of a panic. You're angry, you're emotional, you're not thinking logical. You got to step back for a moment and realize where the headspace that they're in order for you to respond appropriately, right? Because if you get into the emotional argument and sink yourself to that level, nothing's going to get done. It's going to inflame everybody. You got to step back for a moment and realize they're in a certain headspace emotionally. And they're not thinking logically, which is what we like to do on this program. So you got to call that out and realize, but you're an elected official. And the whole point of you is to be logical, to make proper legislative decisions based on logic, not based on this kind of stupid emotion.
How many government agencies, Mr. Lyons, are you aware of that routinely kill American citizens and you still get funding?
Ma'am, I'm not going to entertain that.
Of course you're not. Exactly. Once again, questions that you cannot answer. And that is exactly why, Mr. Chairman, and to this committee, to my colleagues, and to my colleagues across the aisle, this is exactly why we should not be funding this agency. The people are watching you. They are watching you. And this is why we need to abolish ICE.
There it is. So the emotion, let them slip. This is sometimes, and if you're in a debate, this is kind of words of wisdom to the young generation. If you try and get into debate, if you want to do formal debate, if you want to argue with people, I've told you my story. I wanted to be an astronomer. I wanted to work for NASA. I enjoy science. I enjoy numbers. I enjoy facts. I enjoy logic. That's the kind of stuff. Getting into politics was a little bit different until I heard the argument from people and sometimes themselves backing themselves into a corner. And one of the lessons I learned early on when I started doing competitive debate in college, or in high school and in college, was sometimes you just let them talk. And they said the part out loud that they didn't want to be said out loud, because this is where the Democrats are sticklers. Not we want to reform ICE, which is what the argument was when they separated the funding of DHS away from the rest of the appropriations process, that they want to reform it. They want to get rid of some of the cells. They want to change the uniforms. They want to get rid of the masks. They want to put on body cameras. That was the initial argument. And now we have the radicals that have taken hold. They say now we're going to take that mile because you gave us an inch, and they've said the quiet part out loud.
The people are watching you. They are watching you. And this is why we need to abolish ICE.
Abolish ICE. How popular do you think that's going to be? Maybe in very small communities and very radical communities, that's going to go over well. But it's appealing to a very small base of the Democrat Party. Overwhelmingly, people want voter ID. Overwhelmingly, just like they did with the defund the police movement, that backfired on them big time, and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot again. I'm feeling more optimistic about the midterm elections because all you got to do is use that clip right there. That we want to abolish ICE, we want to defund the entire organization, we want to defund the entire agency, because that is going to be extremely unpopular. Some people, narratively wise, may say that there needs to be some reforms in ICE, maybe back off a little bit, but they do not want it to go away completely. And that's kind of the summation from a very large portion of the population. They're going to go too far, and it's going to bite them in the midterms, and we're going to laugh about it. So let them speak. Hashtag let Democrats speak.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
Oh, hey, sorry, I was just enjoying one of my snacks during the break. You know, it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives, but I'm here to tell you that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
The reaction, of course, as all Americans, is just pure disgust. And again, it's heartbreaking to see now this footage really bring to life a story we've all been reading about. And again, we're just praying for the safety of Nancy Guthrie and that she will return home soon. And the president directed me to please encourage all Americans with any information to call the FBI. And we hope that this case will come to a positive resolution as soon as possible.
Yeah, so Caroline Levitt speaking again at the press conference earlier today following the story. Now, I got to admit, I have not been following the story of Savannah Guthrie and what's her name, Nancy Guthrie, the mother that's been missing. Apparently, there's now a video, which I've seen the picture of the video of a masked person near the house that could allegedly have abducted the individual and holding him ransom. I don't know the entire story. I don't follow those types of true crime type of situations. And it's a little weird that we're spending so much time on it. It's very sad, and I give her all the thoughts and prayers out there, and I hope she's returned safely. Like, we don't want any harm to her whatsoever. It's really cool to see Donald Trump extend to every law enforcement agency available to try and solve this case and help out Savannah Guthrie, a person who's been very critical of Donald Trump as a member of the mainstream media. I think that's really cool, and I'm hoping that, again, this is the eternal optimist inside of me, I'm really hoping that, you know, maybe the media will come back and be like, wow, Donald Trump isn't the absolute soulless jerk that we say that he is all the time, that's eating babies and, you know, throwing people in Guantanamo Bay and executing his political opponents. Like, I'm hoping that they're like, wow, he actually does have some compassion, and he's helping out a member of the mainstream media that despises him with trying to find their mother because they're lost. That's a really cool side of it. Outside of that, I find it really odd how much time the media has been focusing on this story. It's kind of weird to me because there's so many other issues like, okay, yeah, our friend and colleague has their mother missing. It's a story. Maybe we'll touch on it real quick, give an update if there's new information. But outside of that, is there something else going on here? Is this a distraction from the bombing and the failing of the Democrats right now with trying to recover from not even representing the majority of the Democrat constituency on issues like voter ID, or going too far as advocating for the abolishment of ICE with the potential shutdown that they're trying again because they got just a little bit of momentum after being able to separate it from the appropriations? Like, what's it distracting us from? And again, not trying to belittle the issue because it's very sad and I hope it turns out positive. It's just weird why we focus so much time on it that I don't think we need to be. Very strange. But who knows? I don't know. We're just out here in Kansas trying to witness the world as it is, right? Hey, I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. Talking about legislation, we have plenty of opportunity to do healthcare reform, and our friends over at Americans for Prosperity are doing that as well, where they're trying to help and put pressure on Congress to come up with some new options for you. And that means options for yourself, for the household, for your business, whatever. I want you to go to the website at personaloption.com, personaloption.com. You can find the information. You can sign up. It's free. And you can get information on how to put pressure on your elected official to make sure that you have as many healthcare options as possible as we try to get rid of Obamacare and give us better options that are out there. And you can do it with your friends over at Americans for Prosperity by going to personaloption.com. Again, personaloption.com. All right, that being said, the games that the Democrats are trying to play, trying to figure out exactly what their platform's going to be for the midterms, we're not quite sure yet. It was affordability. The affordability thing kind of fell through. Donald Trump addressed the majority of that, and we're working on it. We already have plans in place. We're seeing the results of that. The quote-unquote golden age of America is right around the corner, and they can't really comment or complain about the economy right now, especially with it hitting over 50,000, what was it, a couple days ago, end of last week? So, yeah, that one's kind of busted for them, so sorry. So when it doesn't work out and they go too radical with their other issues that they're working on, they have to come up with something which they go back to the same old trough, which is, of course, identity politics, victimization, and you need to be very worked up and angry because people are racist on the other side.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning.
Same oppressor.
Because we are the majority in this country now. We have the ability to take over this country and to do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair.
So, I know, right? That was Congressman Gene Wu. That was back in 2024. That video resurfacing now. And it's odd that it's resurfacing now while we're dealing with the ICE issue. We're dealing with the identity politics issue, federal law enforcement enforcing laws of bad guys getting criminals off the street. They don't like that, so they have to go back to the same old trough. It's about skin color. It's about identity politics. It's about rising up against the evil, oppressive white man, the rich white man like Donald Trump, the Gestapo of the law enforcement that's coming after you. And it's not going to work. Like, we're over that. That's so many years ago. We're done with that kind of garbage. Even people on their side tired of that kind of rhetoric. There's nothing new there. Will it work for the midterms? I guess we'll find out later on. Back at it again tomorrow for a Wednesday, your midweek celebration. Until then, be your own voice of reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative